Evelyn to Philip, March 9th, 1943. Angel, your letter arrived this afternoon along with the letter from Red. It's a very nice letter, too, and I intend to write soon again. I'm more than surprised to hear of your necessity for money. If I remember clearly, you said something to me about being able to save money. Did you gamble? $20 is a lot of money to use up in 1 week on your expenses. I was hoping you could stretch it, and I intended to hold on to the remains of my check, which I haven't received yet, and I can't seem to get to the page 2 bank before it closes to help you come home shortly. Do you realize, Phil, that if Jakey is accepted, he will leave April 2nd, and then what are we going to do? I have no intention whatever of sending you any monies this month, and I'll be very angry if you charge your phone calls. I dislike our separation because it does not give you the opportunity to bear any responsibilities pertaining to our marriage and our baby, let alone my desperate loneliness for you. Page 3. And what makes you think I'm getting used to your absence? I am not. Not while there are other couples here constantly making love to one another in my presence, constantly reminding me of you and the wonderful times we've had. Sure, I sounded happy Saturday night. I always am when I can say the things nearest and dearest to me to the one person in all this world who understands and appreciates them. Your sense of value seems to have gone astray, or was it the mood, page 4, you were in? I know you want to go here and there and have a good time to keep you from thinking, but what about me? You know, sweet, I'm at an age where I want to make the most of my days, not when I'm 40. And being 7 years younger, I have not had the opportunity to do half the things you have done or go to as many places. I'm content to be Mrs. Phil Strongan, wife and mother, but will you please be Mr. and not private where Adele and I are concerned? I realize, page 5, that $16.10 isn't much, but I'm not getting rich or going out either. It costs too much for me to go to a movie, as I must also pay Ruth. I'm terribly disgusted and blue this evening, and that doesn't only go far this evening alone. I only write to you when my mood is good, so you will not know how miserable I get in the evenings, and I have no form of relaxation to drown my thoughts. Adele keeps me occupied during the day, as does my various tasks and duties, and it's more or less like a job. I also need relaxation. Page 6. But do I get it, besides writing to you? But enough of that for now. And now to the brighter things. Incidentally, I don't think I'll get a check this month, till they straighten out our accounts. I'll probably get 2 next month. I went to Wyman's last night with Harry, Goldie, Jack, and Gloria. Ben looks thinner, but claims he's gained weight. Looks good. Mom was disgusted with him because he didn't even bat an eyelash or show that he had lost his mother. But you know Ben. We took a cab home. Mom too. Mr. Chase was here today and thinks your daughter is all you say she is. He left this evening. Page 7. Speaking of Adele, you should have seen her today. She was wearing one of the pink pleated dresses my cousin Bella brought. Yup, they fit her perfectly. She looked sweeter and sweet. Ann and I went walking with the babies today to Broad Street, and I bought a large box of pablum. Ann is all broken up about Tony. My girdle rubbed the sides of my legs and made them red and raw, that I had to remove the girdle. I may have to have it padded near the bottom to keep it from rubbing. Gloria called New York tonight to tell her folks she'd be in this weekend and learned, page 8, that her mother had had a heart attack, has a specialist, and a day and night nurse. She's been crying all evening. I spoke to the insurance man about insurance for Adele, and he suggests that I take out a policy now before prices advance. He suggests a 20-year endowment policy at $48 per year. At the end of that time, she'd get about $1,285. I'd like to take out some sort of policy, but I'd like to talk it over with you and examine various types of policies in detail before doing so. Phil, dear, I miss you desperately. I'm completely lost without you and wish constantly that you were home where you belong. With yours, lovingly, Ev. Philip to Evelyn, Tuesday, March 9th, 6:10 p.m. Dearest darling, when your letter did not arrive this morning, I was disappointed, but it came in the afternoon mail and everything is hunky-dory. Every day increases my feeling of pride for the sweetest, most accomplished, and efficient little wife a guy ever had. So now, among your many other talents, you are a cook, and from all reports, a good one. I judge this from the favorable comment your culinary efforts evoked. I offer, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and the best advertisement is a satisfied customer. Keep 'em frying, baby. I guess Mom is home now, and trust she is bearing up well. I pray that her recent bereavement will be the last she is called on to suffer. I would write to her, but for fear that a letter may rekindle her grief. I'll let time do its work of dulling her anguish before I attempt to write directly to her. Wish I were there to kiss away the pain of the burned wrists, sweet. Be careful, honey. When I started to read about Adele in your letter today, a clawing fear gripped me. For the moment, I thought something had happened. My imagination ran away with me when I started to read that your mother looked in and noticed her face turned to the wall. It brought all sorts of absurd, page 2, and frightening visions, and I rushed through the following words to get at the sense of the paragraph. Of course, I laughed at myself when I had grasped the perfectly harmless import of the incident, but I must admit I was never so frightened in my life, unless it was when I received that wire at Fort Meade telling me to come home immediately when the doc thought you might go to the hospital. Then there was that horrible moment when I found my dad of blessed memory on the floor. For a very bad few seconds, I experienced the same feeling of dread as I started to read about Adele. I could kick myself. I don't know why I tell you all this, baby, unless it's to put you on your guard against a similar occurrence in the future. Don't think I'm blaming you, sweet. You couldn't possibly know my silly mind would read nonsensical conclusions to an innocent few words. To tell you the truth, I never saw the princess turn her head, as you described, but I'd give a lot to be there when she does. Well, Chippy, what else can I say about a very average and therefore unnewsworthy, what a word, day? The weather is fine again. I worked the same work again, wore the same clothes again, ate the same meals again. I'm going to the movies again. I'm writing to you again, and missing you yet, and loving you more and more. So until tomorrow, when I hope to have more news, or do I? I'll say, good night, my darling Evie. Kiss our baby, the finest of the species, for being the personification of our love, the finest of the species. I adore you, sweet wife, the finest of the species. Phil. P.S. My love to all.